Good evening, everybody. Good morning, or depending when you're actually watching this. I'm your girl, Gigi. I have been throwing a whole lot of stuff on social media about this crazy cool single called Beautiful Show. And I thought it would be helpful for you to see the face behind the incredible track that was built. So people, ladies and gentlemen, this is the fabulous, my brother, Michael Obed. So I'm going to be firing some questions at him, and he's going to be firing some questions at me, and we're just going to have a little bit of a conversation. But yeah, brother, say hi before I start firing at you.
Hello, everybody.
I am so glad that all the viewers are finally going to be able to see the genius behind this track and actually to get to know you a little bit better. So please just start it off by just letting them know who you are and what you do, and yeah, let them know a little bit about you, brother.
Okay. Well, my name's Michael. Mike. M-Dog. No, kidding. No one calls me that. You'll never hear that again. I make all kinds of music in my spare time. I'm usually out helping churches or helping out my home church, whether it's leading worship, whether it's just playing instruments, just being around. And I've had the pleasure of collaborating with Gigi on this track, and I'm just it's an honor, honestly. Really is.
Charlie, the honor is all mine, I can assure you. Hey, trust me. Yo. So just for the viewers who who have yet to hear it or about to or have heard it, how would you describe the musical journey when you were creating Beautiful Show?
That's a great question. So the musical journeys are, well, it's very apt that you call it a journey, because a musical journey for me it's a very explorative thing. It's a very kind of, I don't know what the next thing that's going to happen is kind of affair, and Beautiful Show is like no exception. Like, I started off trying to kind of capture the mood of what I knew the song was going to say, because like we'd gone back and forth, like talking about it and about like your story and about what the song's gonna say, basically. And I think the first thing that came to mind is, okay, like this starts off in quite a dark place, so let's kind of go, it's got to be minor, it's got to be kind of not miserable, but like there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but we're nowhere near the end of the tunnel. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be that sort of thing. And I think as I started to sculpt this sound, like one thing that happens with me a lot is like I always collaborate with Jesus on anything I do. So sometimes he'll drop a, hey, why don't you try this? Or what if you just like do this way? And so there was quite a lot of that, particularly with Beautiful Show. And so a lot of the kind of sounds and stuff came out of those moments of inspiration. So yeah, it was quite a wild journey.
That you said something really, really interesting, and I was wondering if you could help the listeners a bit more and understand what you mean. You said collaborating with Jesus. For some people who have maybe even heard that before, that sounds really weird.
Yeah.
Could you explain it a bit more? What do you mean? Was it like a kind of like a moment of inspiration of an idea that suddenly popped into your head? Could you describe that a little bit more?
Yeah, sure. So sometimes it is just an idea that pops into my head, like any other, and I hear this in my head and I'm like, hey, that's really cool, I'm gonna go do that, and then I do it, and then it's wonderful, and that's the end of it. Sometimes it'll be when I'm doing something completely unrelated to producing or to any kind of music making. I could be doing laundry or eating breakfast or something really mundane like that, and just out of friendship, because like friendship is what I really want to point to in all of this. Like Jesus will go, hey, so you know that track you're working on, Beautiful Show, like why don't you do this to it? And I'll be like, you know what? Next time I go to, let's be real, my bedroom. I don't have a studio, it's my bedroom. Next time I go there and I sit at my desk and I start working on this thing, I remember what he said and I'm like, I've never heard it done that way, or I've never thought that such a thing could ever work. But you know what? Like, because he's my friend, I trust him. And I try it, and every single time it works. I tell you, every single time. There's not one time where he's done something like that and I'm like, oh, that's stupid, or I don't like how that sounds. Because like he knows what's got to come out of this story, and he knows like the way it needs to be told. And so I trust him to, help me bring that out, so it's not just another song.
Oh, that sounds so beautiful. So you're describing this beautiful friendship between you and Jesus. It sounds very, very peaceful, and it doesn't sound like stressful or like this, crazy lightning craziness or anything like that. It sounds a bit like a kind of like the conversation we're having now. Is that how you would describe your relationship with Jesus?
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
Prayer is just talking to him like this, quite frankly.
Wow. That's amazing. And amazing that Jesus would care about a project like that. So
yeah,
that's actually really beautiful. That's really, really lovely. I just wanted to also ask you, did you mentioned about how Jesus would tell you, hey, try this or try that. Did you find any musical challenges when you were building this track? Because as you know, it's highly emotive.
Yeah.
So, and as you said that you because of the story that you knew that it had to be quite moody, if I can use the word moody.
Sure.
So any other musical challenges that you had, and how did you solve them?
Yeah, so I think the biggest musical challenge for Beautiful Show was kind of balancing light and dark. So it was, not forgetting the fact that, this story starts in a really quite dark place, like before it becomes better, but also not kind of letting that overshadow the fact that there is light at the end of it, and that there is a resolution to all of this, and like God really does come in and turn things around in quite a spectacular way. And it was how to represent both at the same time, because I definitely didn't want to make it major and happy and pretend, everything's okay. Like, I don't want to do that. That's, no. So the way I did that is I kind of started with this quite dark, quite almost bassy sound, and kind of pepper it here and there with like synthesizers, because synthesizers do this really cool thing where you just add them to anything and they become instantly like brighter. And you'll hear what I mean if you listen to the track, but there are these bits and pieces here and there which kind of arpeggiate in different ways and just brighten the sound in very specific places. And yeah, that helped kind of balance the light and the dark, so there's not too much of either.
Awesome. I mean, I know I'm biased because, he my brother, he produced the track, and I love it. But I think you got the balance perfectly, so just saying. Anyway, of course I'm going to be biased, so I don't care. Anyway, my final question, and then we can swap interview roles and you get to bombard me with some questions. It was obviously the track is unique in itself because of the story, but did you find that the track helped you in any part of your life when you were producing it, when you heard it?
Wow, that's quite an interesting question. I think there's one line, if I may mention it.
Yes, go ahead. Spoiler alert. Well, not quite, because it's out.
I mean, yeah, you can go and listen to it. There's one line in it that goes, "Oh, saving grace, how sweet the sound that told me who I was." And for me, like, that's a particular turning point in the song, but it also just highlights the importance of identity in all of this. And this song taught me that in quite a strong way. And yeah, it's just a reminder that, like, you're not what happens to you, you know? And I think that comes out in the song in a really beautiful way. And I've kind of learned to take that on board. Because one thing as a producer that a lot of people might not appreciate is that you end up listening to the track 1,000,000 times. Like, I've heard this track more times than anyone can imagine. I've probably heard this track more times than you. And
I don't know. I think I could challenge you there. You might come close. You might just hit it. I don't know. Anyway.
Well, we shall see.
We shall see. You have to see on that one. Okay.
No, but like I hear this track, like when I was working on it, I was hearing it day in, day out, and particularly when you're like editing a small section of the track, you end up listening to it over and over again, and by the time the track is done, you know it inside out and back to front. You know every little detail of it. You know all the words, and because you know all the words, like, they often end up being repeated in your mind. And so what's happening here is I'm hearing this track all the time, everywhere I go, even when I'm not working on it, and it's just ministering to me, and it's just reminding me, like, no matter what happens to me, like, who God says I am always takes precedence. And this song is such a beautiful reminder of that. Beautiful.
That's just finished me off, so can't really say anything else after that one. So, well, before my brother bombards me with questions and we get to switch roles, we're going to take a short break, people, and we'll be right back with you. See you soon.